Phase 1 focused on the outside of the building, kind of the external things, video boards, escalators, things like that. Phase 2, which is where we'll focus on today, is really everything inside the building, the way the building looks and feels. Number one, if you look above you or you look down the hallway, you'll see a commitment to much more simple wayfinding for our fans. We had a whole lot of wayfinding before, but I think it pointed in different directions. We've simplified it. So 2 years ago we said we wanted to take our club concepts that were our club seat holders and give those to all of our fans. So behind the decks in the upper stadium where we built the video boards, we added a B spot, we added Sawyer areas, and now we're doing that in the concourses. This is one example of what will be a B spot for all of our fans. I think almost every concept we have here ties back to the city of Cleveland. Look to your right here. All of these are new graphics, the Hall of Fame graphics up on the left, the banners. All throughout the building we add elements like that just to bring the tradition of the Browns back to this stadium. One thing I noticed when we walked the stadium a few years ago is if you didn't know where you were, I'm not sure you'd know it was a Cleveland Browns stadium. I don't think you could say that at all anymore. Everything is linked back to our tradition. We've got a club on the north side, a club on the south side. We renamed them, but more importantly, the flow is much better. So these seat a lot of people, these clubs, and if you're ever in here at halftime, they get very crowded. So what we did, the most important thing we did was the bar used to be in the middle of this club. And most people would hover around the bar and then we get crowded everywhere else. We moved the bars back for two reasons. One, to create more space. Two, so you have a great view of the city on the south side and the lake on the north side. And then the other thing we did was we made the wing areas that we just walked through destination areas. So we turned those into bigger bars, a lot of TVs. There's a fantasy football lounge on the north side that I think has like 42 TVs. So we're doing all we can to make the experience better in these clubs and to spread people out. So one aspect of Phase 2, which we discussed, we've renovated every single suite in the building. Once again, I just think it's more modern, more streamlined. We've added art to the suites. We're still in the process of adding art to these suites, but we will by the first preseason game. You can see new carpet, new paint, new tile work, new furniture. Every single suite has been touched to this degree. This is a really good example of the impact of our lighting. Small changes like this, if you walk this corridor before we change these lights, it's dark. It's dark during the day. And now look at it. It's just, this corridor hasn't looked like this probably since they opened the stadium. This is one of my favorite areas in the stadium. This used to be Brownstown. If you recall, it's actually at times carved up into different areas. Didn't have a theme really to the area. This is now the draft room. So it has actual dual meaning, right? We tie it back to what's happening in Ohio City with the keg wall and draft beer. And then of course the Browns drafts. If you look around the space up on that wall, you have players, the year they were drafted, and throughout this space you'll see things like that. References to drafts, references to players. So this is the 1946 team. This is one of my favorite graphics. I'm not sure I've ever actually seen a graphic like this. We found this photo, I think, in our archives. And this is outside what we call Club 46, which we had heard from our fans they want to be as close to the players as possible. That's pretty normal. So we created a club where literally against the far wall, which you'll see, you watch the players run out of the tunnel. The home team tunnel, the players run out. Our fans have seats in the stadium and they have access to this area. So you can see if you're a fan and you have access to this club, the players walk right through here to enter the field. Really a unique experience. We have 2 or 3 story high banners on the outside of our building celebrating the dog pound and certain players. And I think if you're Joe Hayden and you drive by the stadium and you see just this humongous banner honoring you, I think that gives you a little extra energy, and he deserves it, right? I mean, he's an icon here, and I think those are the little things that connect us to the city. Things like Dog Pound Drive, which we started last year, it's just more lively. Everything you can do to make it more an event will give us a better home field advantage.